Welcome along with everybody here to the Auburn Undercover podcast, live from AU Club here at the Auburn University Club. And Jason, we're really excited to partner with them here for what should be moving forward a Thursday evening live show where we can talk about the game, preview the game. If you guys are AU Club members, stop by and check out the show. We're hoping to maybe have some players on moving forward. But yeah, we're excited to stick around.
Yeah, no, it's great. Hopefully, good partnership here. We've got a big crowd already here. Great place to come. Like I said, members out, and if you haven't ever been out to the club, about joining this place, it's a great place to make golf course in fantastic shape, great food, amenities, all those things. So come check us out. Yeah, we're so excited to do this and be this a regular Thursday night as we get headed down into the meat of this football season with a much bigger game coming up for week 2 with Cowboys.
For sure. This will kind of be our soft launch week a little bit. Our intern Patrick Bingham, who's a whiz on the ones and twos. We'll see what he can get rolling for us next week in terms of the setup he's already got. If you're watching here in the videos, he's already got that nice banner there at the bottom. And if you're listening to this on the podcast feed, see how the audio comes out. We'll see how we're going to mix it up this week. But so yeah, super excited for this moving forward. As you mentioned, Jason, it's going to be a lot bigger in the game this week for Auburn. We've been talking about Cal all week, and I think the biggest point you sort of look at here is that this was the game. Who was talking about this week? This was the game last week where he kind of said the offense said, "Oh no, there might be some issues going on here," and they looked really good in that season opener on offense last year. If they can turn the page here, and it's a different kind of game, being at home, it's a lot different to traveling 2,500 miles. But if you can be on the same page here in this game offensively, I think it's going to be a good start.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you look at it and a much different test than Alabama may have been for sure. So that's where we start with this group is how you actually take what you found out at Alabama moving to a Cal game. The Cal team is much better offensively. So it's going to be a much stiffer test. I think you look and there are some things you can take away from me heading into week 2 that obviously you can build on. Again, you're right. This was the time last year. We heard it this week from players. We heard from each one. Okay, this is kind of a proof. So last year, week 1, they scored points. This thing went down with dreadful offensively. Now it's your opportunity in year 2 to go out and see what you can do with this Cal team that, again, I think they're known for defense. Justin Wilcox, Peter Sherman, experienced secondary. So there are most different challenges now for all the heading into week 2. But you got it at home. You don't have to make that awful trip that we made last year. You have to deal with that. So looking forward to a 2:30 start Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, that trip last year was awesome. We enjoyed everything about it, except for I enjoyed the game as well. Really cool stadium. But once the game started getting a little into the night, you sort of realized, this is going to be a defensive match. The good news for Auburn is on that defensive side of the ball. I mean, I think about a guy like Eugene Asante in this game last year. This was sort of his coming out party. I can't remember how many tackles he had. It seemed like he was in there almost every single time. Jason, this is going to be the game, though, for this Auburn defensive line to start showing itself because Freeze admitted it. In that first game, he thought they would crush the pocket a little bit better. Now, it was really interesting getting to talk to Malik Blockin this week because he said the game plan initially was set the edges, make sure they don't break contain, and then over the course of the game, they realized, all right, y'all are doing fine with that. Start to come in the interior and get a pass rush going. So that'll be really interesting to see what they do on Saturday and how that group performs because this is going to be, obviously a much stiffer test than in terms of the personnel on the offensive line what they saw on Saturday.
Yeah, no, I think we saw what Auburn's defense will be like when we had that kind of open scrimmage situation that first Saturday. We didn't see any of that last Saturday against Alabama. They didn't have to. I think now you look at it, much more aggressive. The rotation's going to be there. They're going to be physical, I think, up front. I think we'll see more blitz, more things of that nature for this group to try to create more pressure on the quarterback. So I think that's where it starts. I think that's what we'll see. But, yeah, I think when you start talking about defensively for Auburn, I think numbers game, get Isaiah Rakes back. What does that do for a defensive line that has bodies? They got those numbers. But can you create more push in the middle? you don't want to have to blitz all the time. But I think we'll see more aggressiveness, more blitzing, more of those special packages that we didn't see much of last night.
Yeah, Kevin asks here on Facebook, where does Auburn match up favorably against Cal, and what are the concerns? I would start there, and you really got to pinpoint that offense. But the thing is, as you wrote today, Jason, kind of previewing Cal, they have some good guys at quarterbacks. They have some good players at corner. This is going to be a really big test for those Auburn receivers, and sort of showing, because we knew they could be explosive against Alabama, and showing they can be explosive against a defense that should be pretty good there in the ACC.
Yeah, no, I think to me, that's the matchup. When you start talking about this game, I think the first thing you point to is Auburn's wide receivers in this passing game versus those DBs and all the things. Look at Cal has 10 DBs that have played in 250 football games. It's incredible. They got more experience in their secondary than all the NFL teams do. When you start talking about all the games we play, that can be good and bad. The good news is you got a lot of guys back that play a lot of football. The bad news is those guys aren't in the NFL. So, talent level, I think it's a good defense, but I think it's an opportunity for all of them. When you start talking about dealing with those guys, they got some guys up front that can rush the passer. I think the thing to watch for me is going to be how Cal plays. Will they be straight up man and say, I dare you? Will they say, okay, we saw some things last week. We're not going to play the box for can Auburn run the football against a 16 box. And they do those things. There's going to be a bit of a chess match going on. I think a feeling out process for what this offense looks like with Chris and Dave Blix. It's not the same group, the same system, the same scheme that they faced last year.
Yeah, I mean, last year in Berkeley, 270 yards, something around that, 4 turnovers for this team. Peyton Thorne said it this week on the next round, that radio program in Birmingham. He said it was the most unenjoyable offensive experience he's ever been part of. Of course, they're hoping that this is where you get to, Jason, where obviously the receiver upgrades are one thing, but as you Priest talked about this week, this is sort of the show me point for the coaching camp. You get Derek Nixon there, you get Ken Austin together. You hope to have a better range rest there, playing. And I think this is going to be sort of that first test where you're going to be able to see something like that. In terms of the injury front, we'll touch on this real quickly for this game. Like we mentioned, Isaiah Rapes. I wonder how much of a difference that would have made last week with the rush in the pocket there. If he did emerge as Auburn's best player today, and those kind we definitely expect Isaiah Rapes to play. Seems like he couldn't play against Alabama and playing a real Champ Anthony, we saw him on Tuesday's practice. Good fine. We expect him to go as well with a knee issue as well. And so I'm really looking forward to that defense. Jason getting to obviously show things out against what should be a better offense than itself. But we won against Cal. It's interesting too. We don't know if the type of quarterbacks that gets to play in this game. They bring in Chandler Rogers. Cal does, one of the most prolific quarterbacks from a group of 5. Really, really good at North Texas. Justin Wilcox talking about it this week. They wanted to get him more opportunities. From listening to Wilcox, it seems like there might be kind of a 2 quarterback thing going on there right now. Fernando Mendoza is the starter, but I think they wanted to get Rogers more opportunities there in the next game. But put the offenses.
I think we can think about how much more they can add to the passing attack. I think that's the question for them, and can Chandler Rogers add some of that stuff? So you might see more of a, hey, we're going to run a little bit more Mendoza and maybe add some passing game stuff for Chandler Rogers. Start to become a little, I don't say one-dimensional, but start to become a little predictable when you do those things. So I think when you look at it, it's an opportunity again for all the defense to see how they respond. Can they respond to adversity for the first time like DJ Durkin? And this is we'll really get to see more of what this DJ Durkin defense looks like actually. To this point, last Saturday was just anybody's defense. They didn't do anything. They were straight up. They did rotate guys up front, but they didn't do a whole lot of different things defensively. We'll get to see much more, I think, of what Baker's defense is all about this Saturday this game.
Yeah, Hunter asks here on YouTube, is the secondary the biggest thing to watch on Saturday? I mean, Hugh Freeze certainly has circled that group this week. It was a group late in preseason camp that he expressed his concerns about. I don't think this is the best receiving player you're going to see on season if you're Auburn. But at the same time, especially if they get a couple guys back from injury, they've got some guys who can push the ball downfield. A guy from Ohio State and Notre Dame as well.
Yeah, they had some transfers they added to this group. From an Auburn standpoint, there's no question that you look at it and go, as we started this talking about the defensive player, how well the defensive front can get to the quarterback will ultimately determine what this secondary is going to look like. So nobody's going to cover 5, 6 seconds. If you don't get to the quarterback, we've seen that all too often. Can you get to the quarterback consistently without having to send 6 or 7 guys? That will help out a young secondary now. You got guys that have played. Jaron Thompson has played. Taylor Wood has played. Deontay Scott's played. You got guys that have played. Taylor Lee's a guy that started some games last year, but he's still just a guy that has 5 starts in this game. Behind Lee, it's almost all of them. We're talking about that too. Guys played a little bit. Jason Smart, basically about the same position. We saw Sylvester Smith, Baylor Harris mostly last week. If you stand still too, those guys combined have a handful of snaps. So you start talking about the secondary group, inexperience is the word. And so those guys are going to have to play. And when they do, you're going to need some help from the pass rush to get the quarterback, take some pressure off them. And it's a talented group. I think it's a really talented second group in Auburn secondary. But again, if it's not played before, you're going to see some questions. You're going to see a bust or two here or there. How many of those can you eliminate by getting to the quarterback?
Yeah, one group we haven't talked about yet is the magic of Auburn's offensive line. I think Cal's defensive front might be sort of the highlight of this team for them. They've got a defensive end, David Reese, who's a foreign transfer, 6th-year senior. They've got a couple guys up there who racked up the tackles for loss last season. You've got a brand new starting left tackle in Tyler Johnson, a guy who earned that start. We expect him to get the start again over Carson Lewis here in this second game. And obviously, as we talk about all the upgrades they made at receiver, all the things that Peyton Thorne could do better this season, so much of it comes back to the offensive line. Again, this will not be SEC level defensive line for Cal, but they do have a couple of dudes there, and you got to make sure you can hold that business in this game because you're going to be facing a lot of really good players.
Yeah, no, it'll be a much different challenge when you start talking about the step up from week to week 2. Size, first of all. I'm going to name one very big. Cal's got a much bigger group. They've got their own version of a guy like Felton Calkins. He transferred from Utah. He's a big kid. The other side, they got their own version of Jalen McLeod. They've got a big Reese who started his career. So they've got size. They've got 320-pounder inside. Not a ton of depth. They only played 6 guys last week against UC Davis. So they don't have a ton of depth. But I do think this is a group that will challenge us all in front. I think the good news for Auburn last week was that Dylan Wade settled in at guard, and when he did, he became the guy they thought he was going to be. I think they had some questions and not just about left tackle, but about how well Harry was going to stand. Can he settle in and be the guy they thought was going to be an NFL offensive guard? Yeah. He played really well. The other part of it, too, was in preseason 10, I don't think he had played particularly well, and I don't think Percy Lewis played particularly well. They got him in match, and both those guys stepped it up. So maybe a case of a couple of guys that are dangerous and said, okay, if the lights are on, let's go. The only problem with Percy Lewis was he's in the game. They only had 9 snaps because he scored so quick, and he didn't get a ton of reps. I think we'll see him more Saturday. I still think it'll be Tyler Johnson. I think we'll see Percy Lewis more as they continue to say, okay, what's our best move? He gives us the best 5. But I think the positive is that they feel good about left tackle and getting later up on.
Yeah, that's exactly what Kevin asked right here. Asking about rotating Percy Lewis at left tackle. Maybe less, especially if you get the offense rolling with somebody like Tyler. This is not a game like Alabama A&M where you can do those things so freely. But at the same time, we saw it against good competition at the beginning of the season. Yes, and I mean they're very open to rotating this group to finding the best starting. I think, like you said, though, I think there's a pretty good chance Dylan Wade is still career.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the positive for this situation is you're not searching for a 5th. You're searching for the best 5. That's a different story. We've seen years in the past where you're searching for your 5th guy, trying to find the 5. Now I think it's a matter of you're searching for your 5th guy to make your best 5. I think they feel like they've got 7, 8, maybe 9 guys they can win with on the offensive line. We talk about a guy like Braden Jordan stepping in. I mean, we saw at center last week. Jaden Muskrat continues to get built. I think when you look at the back, the transfer in offensive tackle, that's a guy Roman Chambers. They feel like they can win. They've added guys that have made this offensive line stronger. Now it's about can you find the best 5 guys together. I think we'll continue to see a little bit of that rotation as they there in the middle.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about. We talked a little bit about Cal's injuries, but Jaden Auburn. I mean, that is the guy in this game, and historically, apparently, from talking around different account people, Justin Wilcox, the head coach, is not very open with injury status. He called them practical on Tuesday. I think that is probably just a way to get to Saturday. But if you were talking about earlier this week, Jason, if it truly is an ankle, I don't know if we know exactly, but it's certainly something lower body. You're either going to get no Jaden off, which would obviously be, I think, a big boost for the Auburn defense, or you're going to get Jaden off running like a guy ankle. Either way, I think Auburn may have caught a little bit of a break here in terms of this game, but we also don't know he could be healthy and ready to go.
You think about it, had they been up 56-0 last week, and you come out of the game, then it might be a different story. That was a ball game until and he comes out and he doesn't return. That makes me believe that it might be a little bit more serious. Who knows? You never know how these things work out. I would be surprised if they got at least a little limited on Saturday, which would be big. And they got some other guys. They don't have other guys like Dave Knott. He's talented. Guy that was the story and was the focus for Auburn defense. But they did a good job against him a year ago. He's going to come in return. He also talked a lot last year heading into that game, but we haven't heard from him this week. Of course, the injury has something to do with that. But there hasn't been a lot of talk about what he'll do against this Auburn defense. So I think we'll see. But how effective he is, how healthy he is, I think that's still the question mark heading into Saturday. And I think we're start talking about it. Again, that's got to be the focus of defense, no matter who it is. First thing you have to do is talk about it.
Yeah, I wonder, Jason, if we're getting some comments about audio. Maybe just holding this. Again, very much a trial run this week. We're going to kind of figure things out moving forward. Don't necessarily have a super advanced audio setup just yet. We're excited to kind of move forward and see what we can do, make the show better for you guys. I mean, the injuries, like you said, Jaden, I think still think until Saturday to get to know. We'll see whether he's warming up. On the Auburn side of things, Jason, we've gone through pretty much every group here and how they match up. What are a couple of keys in this game that you're looking at saying Auburn needs to accomplish X, Y, and Z? Because I think most people are sort of going in the 2 to 3 touchdown rate in terms of the Auburn win. That's just so different from what we saw last year. But you get the home field advantage, you get a better offense. What are a couple of keys that you're looking that Auburn still experience?
Yeah, I think it's big plays. We saw big plays in the past game. We saw them be able to connect those plays. Can you do those things against a better defense? And I think the thing that probably excited me most about what we saw out of them was we saw an offensive system and scheme where they were saying, okay, look, we're going to take what you give us. Instead of, they were not going to beat our enemy, instead of running it even their 7 or 8 guys in the box. If we got the numbers, then we'll run it. If not, we're going to throw one-on-one situations. And here, he's talking about one-on-one. That's what they look at. To get one-on-ones outside, that's what they're going to attack. And so I think from an offensive perspective, how does the team look at Auburn and go, what are we going to focus on? Because Ken Coleman's a guy that you can say, okay, well, let's roll maybe a second guy over the top of the thing to get through. Well, you also have Keontae Raymond Smith, who's a big player. Robert Lewis, we didn't see much of. I still think it's going to be heavily involved. And then Sam Jackson's going to have a lot of motivation to come out and make the plays Saturday against this former team. Obviously, you're going to much about Cemetery Thompson getting involved. There are a lot of weapons that you have to choose from. How do you approach that defensively? But I think it's a good starting point. Start talking about having new weapons, having guys outside, and what can you try to take away. That's going to be a question mark for Cal defense.
Yeah, Sam Jackson, the Cal transfer. I asked two colleagues this week, how do you tap into it? Like he said, he had a couple defensive guys, I don't know if he meant players or coaches. From a defensive side of things, I think he can definitely provide some insight on personnel. Obviously, going against that Cal defense, because he was a quarterback right now, going against that Cal defense every day. And that group doesn't change. A new coordinator, though, Jake Spavital goes and becomes Baylor's offensive coordinator. So a new coordinator on that side of the ball. But I wonder if maybe you get a player or two drawn up for Sam Jackson in this game. And I do think he'll be more involved in that rotation. This week, I just think, like you said, they didn't run many punts last week. They really weren't able to show what this offense is.
Yeah, no, it is. It's an opportunity. I think but that option is going to be $1 a big thing. So they did have options for the first time. I think that's exciting. I think as a play call, it has to be a lot more fun. Last year was not a fun for anybody. I think Tor mentioned you mentioned the Cal game. Other than the trip to Golden Gate Ridge and seeing a few things, there wasn't a whole lot of fun for us here. Auburn did win, but there wasn't a whole lot of excitement. Um, but I think look at it and opportunities, the ability to create one-on-one opportunities outside and win those. That's the ultimate answer to this offense. Can they win those routes? And if they do, and this is a team that can score points. They're not if they make those one-on-ones, hey, they'll have a chance to win those and put up some points against Cal. That's an experienced defense, a really good coordinator. Can't take away everything. You got to pick the points from it. And so if Auburn can guess right and make a few plays, they'll have a chance to make some plays on Saturdays. Looking forward to it. Let's give them mine. Thanks, Dave, for having us out. It's been great. So, Dave, this crowd here already. Looking forward to the first of many of these out here on Thursday nights.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely looking forward to getting the audio in a little bit better.
I think we'll have a speaker system for week 2, so we'll get some folks here we can hear a little bit better. So I think it'll be good. So again, our trial went tonight. It's been a good response so far. Hopefully everybody's enjoyed it.
Jason, on the recruiting trail, we've been wondering about a certain decision that could be coming at some point. What are you and Christian, and we'll have Christian in the show moving forward. Again, it's the 2 mics set up right now, but what are you guys sort of hearing on Juice night and whether we could be getting on Christmas?
Yeah, obviously Juice night. Big time quarterback with Notre Dame from Mississippi visited last weekend. I think for the first time since really the spring of his junior year. It was the first time back on campus. All indications everything went really well. So well, in fact, that we expect him to be back Saturday. We got a big rivalry game Friday night that he'll be playing. Would not be surprised if we've been pointing towards these first couple of weeks of his season, end of August season, as potential for a commitment. I wouldn't be surprised if that now starts to become really smart for him. Could it be Saturday? I think there's a possibility that it's Saturday. What it means for a class is start talking about getting the quarterback in place, what that guy could be. For other guys, we've seen Naeem Ball, this guy that's easy. They're starting to get a little crystal ball love from Tom Lloyd, Christian, and others that hey, we're going to point to me and Christian not quite ready to jump in yet. But we felt good for Auburn now for about the past month or so that it's starting to grow. But if you look at those guys, it's continuing, and there's starting to be a little buzz about potentially if you get up to 3, 2, maybe even 1 in this class. Andrew Malcolm is out there for offensive tackle. There's some buzz and there's some thoughts that this thing could maybe get close, which would be incredible. And bring the two, everything that's still a question mark about work ethic, recruiting efforts, what you have in Auburn, and the potential for the future is being answered by the looking at these kids that are coming in here. And it could grow, I think, exponentially with these guys next time.
Yeah, I mean, you always want that quarterback leader in your class, a guy that's going to be out there recruiting other people, especially, like you said, with the guys that have been at the top. Few decisions here and there, and they can absolutely find out those top few classes. So, Jason, for this weekend, I think y'all kind of in-depth in something. Y'all expect this to be as big as that.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be a little bit small. It's going to be a close field. Guys can literally be in campus. I also expect these night back in. Tavares Nice and a bunch of kids from Langston Hughes expected to be in Saturday. Watch those guys Friday night. It's Douglas County and so we're going to get some thoughts from them. But I think Tavares Nice and Auburn pretty good spot there. Did go visit Florida last weekend. Obviously, Florida did not perform very well, which I think probably only solidified things for Auburn fan for top offensive line guys. But yeah, I don't think it'll be as big. With 5 straight games, 5 straight home games, it's going to be up and down a little bit. I think we'll see another big one for Arkansas and Austin. Oklahoma is a massive one we can talk about. I think not only Auburn football, we've seen Auburn basketball have a big official this year for the Arkansas game. Tom's got a big game. I think men's golf will have the youngest one playing in the country on campus for the local community. It's going to have some recruits as well. So, it'll pick up for everybody. Centered around pop those games down toward the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting schedule. Hugh Freeze is talking about there are obviously benefits of having so many good games in a row, but like you said, you kind of have to lean up on Oklahoma Bucks and game at the end of the year. Jason, before we start wrapping things up here, what prediction for Saturday? Kind of what we think we'll see. I think all of us, I had 34-17. Looking here, you have 31-16. I think we're all kind of in that range for this game. I've seen some people, if Auburn gets some pass on offense, I think that'd be a good sign to that. Sort of your prediction for what we see on Saturday when this game goes on.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think when we start talking about, I think it's can you make plays, the passing game. Can you create some big plays? For that, I think it's going to be up to the guys outside. We're sooner or later, Cal will go, we're going to have to force and take away something. And normally everybody starts to take away the ball. That's where you want to be. So those one-on-one opportunities outside, can you make those plays? Can you make them consistently? And can you avoid the turnovers? Now, they tied for the national lead in creating turnovers last year. How do you react? All of those things work. Start talking about that kind of part of I think it's where it starts. Can you make plays? Can you create those without turning the ball over? This is an opportunity outside. Offensively, that's what it is. It's always going to be that. Can Auburn force Cal, build the football, and then create some of those good situations. So for me, it's not a scrimmage game. We talked about it. We built a non scrimmage for about the past 18 months, 19 months. This will be the first time we really see how much that's coming to play.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is, like we talked about, this is a game that can sort of show what last year was last year. We want to talk about it in particular, saying we want to leave last year and last year. If you get to 35, 38, 41 points, I also think this is a game too, Jason, where you can't discount some of this Alabama's. And like we talked about before the A&M game, turnovers are sort of the great equalizer. Like, Auburn has to be in a place where, like, well, we didn't see any turnovers from those main groups against Alabama, and with some backups there toward the end of the game, but that's always going to have a potential to make things closer than make things closer than they should be. We have a couple of thoughts I wanted to get to. Jason talking about the potential of no quarterback in 29 games. I don't think we're at that
Zero potential for that. Because the 25 class is including the transfer. So either way, they're going to have that sort of and this like, I think he's going to be a guy where you're pretty sure you're not still pretty sure it's going to be the same. So they're going to have to go back in this class. Potentially could have two. Like how this season plays out. You don't return anybody with a whole lot of material. They've got a lot of experience guy too to jump in the competition. But no, they're going to be a quarterback. You're free to show. If they're going to continue to put quarterbacks each year, that's what you have to do. It's all about competition. No matter what position you are, no matter what position you play, quarterback, running back, you win up with their line, whatever it is. It's about creating competition to make somebody go win a job.
And were you surprised, basically, I was talking about a guy really quick, Nelson Simmons, I was after an X Factor from our Cal site today for this game. I mean, were you surprised that they drew up that first play for a true freshman like that? I think it just sort of goes to show how much trust he's built in this offense. Really 4 months on campus, he already looks like a player. Was out there that, but he already looks like somebody who could be a factor.
I think it's probably easier to do it for those young guys who are rapid and know exactly when it's going to happen, what's going to go. I wouldn't be surprised to see another kind of play this week. You can go, hey, here's what we're going to run in the first play. You can get a good guy and you're not having to adjust. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that again early in the game, maybe the start of the second half, something like that. To get Malcolm involved, to get Perry involved. Because I don't think we're going to see them aiming for it's still a learning process for those guys who want campus in school. So I think you can see them involved, see them kind of get a chance to get in the mix a little bit. I don't think Cam Rollins on the training wheel. I think it's more ready to go. But I think those guys are guys that you still kind of spoon the feet a little bit because even though they might feel good about it, if you're repping the offense, I think they'll probably go, hey, here's 10 to 12 things that you focus on this week. Next week, maybe it's 15, but not the full rep of the offense, especially when you have so many things like this.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce Kane is a guy who's here in the spring, and I just think that that's not a position for him There's a lot of guys. Now you mentioned track. It is a little bit, and I think over the next couple of years, they'll have an opportunity to kind of break through them. Robert Lewis is a guy just even really high on for the season. It's only been one game, he's got this in there. Against against Alabama A&M. I think I agree with you. I think he is a guy that because those downfield shots, as much as we like to hit those are not always going to be there against the better defenses on our schedule. I think as you start to see the games and maybe we're used to go through some jets, I think Robert Lewis is the guy. I saw that before sort of we got best all the way.
Yeah, I think it's not too much. That's a key word. But Robert Lewis is a guy that we probably offense we both felt like maybe this team was second. Because of his steadiness. Last week they did not show what took playoffs. They didn't really get into the mood of the offense. It was about moving opportunities. They just started seeing guys up. Robert Lewis through the bag. I think Sam Jackson coming home the bag. I think Landon Smith. Everybody points to Cam. He's going to be a guy to beat out. It's going to be fabulous. I think those older guys against the secondary are going to be really important this week because they're going to see some things they haven't seen before. They haven't seen before. Because we've got so much experience in it. I think they're trying to disguise coverages. I think they're trying to use some guys around. Get all the best works. That's where that veteran comes from. They have seen all those works. They've seen different things. They understand it. So I would think that Auburn has something. And I think a lot of his are going to be really times. I think when we start talking about like facing some same coverage, facing some different things that they want, that's where we start to see those younger guys, those veteran guys, really important for the basketball.
This is a game last year, Jason. I think maybe we've got this entire show without mentioning about it. Maybe once or twice we've thrown him in there, but this was his breaking out. This was his breakout last year because you took the story. How many receptions was it? Two. Last year, 2 receptions. Two. Three. JK had 2. Yeah. And what happens? You got 3 total catches for 32 yards. All the wide receivers was back. Yeah. And you win the game. Yeah. I would be shell-shocked if that number doesn't first drive, at least the first drive, maybe triple over the course of the game at least for this one. I think Rivaldo Fairweather is sort of being the forgotten about guy right now, but as we talk to him, I think he's okay with it. Because that's gonna draw more matchups away from him on the defensive side of things. Talking to a coach, so interesting. Talking to a guy like Tom's coach in the preseason, he said this was the game last year where they sort of realized, hey, we need to get him more involved with receiver, need to make him around a little bit. I don't think you have to be so intent within this year. I think there's some going on to get more opportunities for that. I wonder if this is the game where Rivaldo sort of reminds everybody again. I need a couple drives in the first game. Sort of making to remind people, hey, I was the leading a Super Bowl.
Yeah, we think Cal focus on him because of what he did against them last year. But you can't take everything. I think I'm start talking about it. You can't take everything away. I still believe that gotta go well with. Do you get it? All the there. Yeah, you got guys outside. You got always got one-on-one. They're going to give us some points. So Motto is going to get some opportunity. I think these are get one of the opportunities. When you start talking about stretching, you need to see that. I believe that's coming. I think Motto Fairway is probably has to be the happiest thing because he's always in the opportunity. I think last week was a little bit of okay, it's not my game. Maybe like a concentration. I would imagine this week there's been some talk, some focus on hey, you're about to be ready to this. You're not going to have 65 in this year. It's going to be 35 to 40. So you're going to take advantage of those are very good. There's going to be some opportunity there. Then that's the thing that I think about is versatility. It's a guy that can play outside. He's putting out an opportunity. This is also an offense that can go 2 tight ends, Luke Neal and Michael Rodgers. Put 2 backs in there. So, okay, we're going to put this like 2. We've got awesome. I think they can do. We haven't seen much of that yet. We're going to see some 2 tight guys. We're going to see some 2 backs. We're going to see 4 backs. We may see 5. There are things that they can do in offense that they were able to do last year. How much of that we'll see Saturday? Probably is determined by what the score is and maybe what Cal doesn't.
Yeah, so although Fairweather in the season last year basically 0 reception.
Yeah.
And then turned around and played such a massive role. And so, yeah, I think we're all sort of eager here to gather a larger sample size of this team. Me and Jason and everyone else on our side kind of on the same page at 14-point-ish victory, while at the same time realize this is a Cal team that is a big step up in competition, but at the same time, which is, they didn't impress very much against their FC in week 1, but you take week 1 to week 2, sometimes it's the biggest game as a coach game. There's in typical roundtable fashion as we do, kind of want to touch on some of the games this weekend and touch on what we've seen. The big one this weekend is Texas at home. It's so interesting to see defending champions in week 2 in their own house win a night game. And everyone's in Texas wants a 7-point favorite for a road team in that situation. Everyone's sort of assuming Texas is just going to go in there. Michigan just didn't look very good with it.
It's weird though. The first thing you pick Texas, Michigan, I sense that's an Mississippi. Because I'm like, we're talking. I don't ever have to talk about that game because they're in the league. It does. It takes you back a bit. I'm sort of the Michigan scoring points. Their defense is going to be good. This Texas offense is legit. They're going to score. Can Michigan get to 24? I don't think so. Can they hold Texas into 24-27? Not sure they can do that either. So I think that's the key to look at is Michigan, can they score enough to stay in? I think they scored at the state meet. I think they scored at the game. That's it. I think Texas wins this game by 13.
Jason, in our picks here in our forecast, you had a over Arkansas on the road against Oklahoma State. It's all sort of started that flurry for SEC teams last week, going and scoring up on that against Arkansas Pine Bluff. Oklahoma State's a team that brings back a lot of these scores. That is going to be a game that I think Auburn fans could at least keep one eye on because Arkansas and Bobby Petrino hasn't forgotten how to coach offense. This is going to be a team that can score some points. They're going to be in a road spot again in 2 weeks against Auburn. I'll be interested to see how they do on Saturday.
I really did the series. One first of all, I did it because I'm a big Bobby Petrino fan. College offense. Maybe not as much as the head coach. Doesn't offense coordinator. I think when you give him the keys, especially when he has an athletic quarterback, they become a team that's hard to stop. And so the unknown factor, they probably didn't have to show it until this Arkansas Pine Bluff. The other one for me is Oklahoma State. Look at this every year. Oklahoma State has a game and you go, there's no way they lost this game. They do it every year. You put 40 seats on schedule. I look at this one. This one's right. So I'll go in, capture a little bit more momentum, and set up when pretty big one. I think they got Texas A&M the next week in Dallas. But this is right from Arkansas. They went in and scored them. And it's more about Oklahoma State that they want to. And have one of these every year where they just go crazy. And I can see a little bit of pressure even in this game. Bob was in the big game. All those things. I think this is one that sets up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you see that. I was trying to remember the game. They lost by 42 to Gus in Orlando last year as the number 16 team in the country. They did look really good in their first game against a really good team. Moving through, we were flat out picked Tennessee over NC State. Yeah. NC State just
same thing. NC State has a few games in here where like, oh yeah, everybody's waiting for them to be the next playoff team. You look up and they have 2 or 3 in the deal. And they're competitive. They don't like the way they played last week. So I think Tennessee too much offense.
Yeah, and then Mississippi State and Arizona State. I love it. That to me is I kind of like the of that game. If you're way out of the you have no idea really what to expect. Kenny Donovan's still there in Arizona State. Maybe he can continue to get things turning. Or winning our SEC team would be really big. We were unanimous as well. Oregon and Boise State. But that's one that, as compared to this one last week, is a little bit more interesting. I would have thought it was 24-3 spread, but now I'm thinking more like 7-10. What's the state look? I got the best running backs in the country. Oregon did not blow away. They don't hold a team. I hope Oregon wins, but feels like it's a much different game, but like I said, than it was a week ago. Yeah, Kansas State at Tulane is another really good game this week. Georgia Tech, and they keep things rolling against somebody like Syracuse.
tournaments that we went to Phoenix and Syracuse and started with a ton. So there's some interesting things. I think that a lot of times in the league, comes the last week and we're kind of getting back to this from an Auburn perspective. Have an opportunity now to have been a little naturally to pass the joke. You can go to a seat, still playing with two comments, two playing that, and a lot of eyes. This is, going to get back to kind of Hugh. This is a proven opportunity now for this Auburn team to go out and have one of those moments where you go, okay, I see it a little bit more now. People see it even pretty. Moving's not on anything. But now coming back to that and have one of those games, you go, okay, that's your just approach. Can you do that? Can you deliver on Saturday? It's going to be an opportunity for sure.
I think delivering on a good environment too. I mean, this is you look back in the past few years in football, I mean, 3 straight losing seasons. One thing that has not changed is every time they need to get up for a game like this, every time it's an interesting opponent. You know, Cal is not at state, but it is an interesting game to be able to look forward to. It's funny how 10 were eventually from last year, even though they and won that game. It's going to be a whiteout. Like, you know, it's going to be a good environment on Saturday. And I feel like recently, maybe other than the Texas A&M game, it felt like whether it's Memphis out here, whether it's Penn State even before, if Jerome Nelson really good environments and there's going to be out there in Philly, I think this is a really good opportunity for them to do. It's not going to be a huge recruiting weekend, but you know, the whiteout situation. I don't know if Aubur's going to wear white. I don't think they're going to be.
No, they're going to be nice.
So maybe the white face mask.
Maybe get back to that. Something that I can see a little bit. I don't think I will. Yeah. But yeah, that's. I like to go back, take a hint of the atmosphere. The atmosphere was incredible last week. You found them, they stayed in, they stayed in, and all those things. So, yeah, take advantage of everything you have on the field, and all the on the field, on the recruiting trail. You got a chance to take some really big positives.
Yeah, for sure. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We didn't want to plug AU Club here and talk about that, Jason.
Absolutely.
Been here, but yeah, talking about what the represents.
Yeah, I know it's thank you. Not only in the other I think for Auburn Press Club, if you haven't done it before, check it out. They have a ton of different types of English. So they have local, they have junior, senior membership, young, they also have regional membership. So if you're in the certain lane of miles and under 25 to 80 miles, you get a membership. I think it's really interesting is national. So you have this game, a little from 25. They have outside 80 miles. They have the folks in the training. Hey, maybe I'm involved during football season. I like to go and play golf and I'm not sure it's wonderful restaurant. I just think, so check it out. It's adgolfclub.com. We'll be here every week with the folks here and the members. Remember, come join us next weekend. Yeah, looking forward to the first minute here later.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, maybe you want to get a membership so you can pop in and listen to the one this year, especially as it goes off here. I think it, like Jason said, like I kind of touched on earlier, looking forward to continuing this throughout the season. Looking forward to sort of fine-tuning things moving forward. Hopefully, maybe some guests on the show. We appreciate everybody for tuning in on this sort of trial run. We'll take a look at this one and see what we can do for next week. We'll get Patrick in here, who's really good with that kind of stuff, and get him to see what we can do this year. We're basically all about Nathan King, AuburnUndercover.com. We're here. Of course, we thank AU Club for hosting us, and looking forward to Cal and Auburn on Saturday, 2:30 on ESPN2. Jason and I will see you guys inside the stadium, as always, for our pregame blitz, where we will touch on everything once for kickoff. So thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you all soon.